One split-second decision in the pit lane can either secure a world championship or throw it all away. While the drivers are battling wheel-to-wheel at 200 miles per hour, the teams on the pit wall are playing a high-speed game of chess that most fans completely miss. These hidden strategies are what truly decide who sprays the champagne and who goes home empty-handed. First, let's cover the basics of pitting. It's incredibly straightforward. Drivers leave the track to change their tires. This is the absolute core of Formula One strategy. Back in the day, teams used to refuel during these stops, but those days are long gone. Today, it's entirely about swapping worn-out sliding tires for fresh rubber that grips the asphalt. The undercut is when you pit earlier than the car ahead of you to steal their position, and it is one of the most brilliant tactical moves in motorsport. Here is how it works. Car A pits on lap 20, while Car B decides to wait until lap 25. Armed with fresh rubber, Car A is suddenly running 1 to 2 seconds a lap faster than Car B, who is struggling on old tires. Over those 5 laps, Car A gains a massive 5 to 10 seconds. By the time Car B finally pits on lap 25, Car A has built enough of a gap to snatch the lead. It's basically overtaking without ever having to pass them on the track. This works best at high degradation tracks like Spain or Hungary, where old tires lose a ton of speed. However, if you pit early and get stuck behind slower traffic, your speed advantage vanishes and the strategy is completely ruined. The overcut is the exact opposite. You stay out longer while your rival pits early, using those extra laps in clean air to build a gap. Instead of following your competitor into the pits, you keep your foot down. Let's say Car A pits and spends 20 to 25 seconds in the pit lane. You stay out. Because your car is burning fuel, it's getting lighter and faster every single lap. If Car A comes out of the pits and hits traffic, they bleed time while you fly around the track in clean air. When you finally pit, you have banked enough time to re-enter the track ahead of them. This move is incredibly effective on low degradation tracks like Monaco, where old tires do not lose much pace. But it requires perfect timing. If your tires fall off a cliff and you lose grip, the strategy collapses. To summarize, the undercut relies on pitting early for fresh tires to run faster laps, working best on high degradation tracks like Spain or Hungary, with the main threat being stuck in traffic. The overcut relies on staying out in clean air on a lighter fuel load, working best on low degradation tracks like Monaco, with the main threat being your tires losing grip too rapidly. The one-stop strategy is exactly what it sounds like. You pit once to switch compounds and ride them to the finish line. It works best for low degradation tracks with stable, predictable conditions. The execution usually involves starting on mediums for speed, then switching to hards to go the distance. For example, George Russell at Miami in 2022. He started 12th, nailed a one-stop under a safety car, managed his tires for 30 laps, and finished 5th. The two-stop strategy is the F1 gold standard. You get 3 separate stints on fresher rubber, allowing you to push harder and drive faster, though you sacrifice about 40 to 50 seconds in total pit lane time. It works best for abrasive tracks like Bahrain that chew up tires. It offers maximum flexibility. Teams usually start on softs for grip off the line, switch to mediums in the middle, and finish on hards, or vice versa. The multi-stop strategy involves 3 or more stops. Extremely rare today, this strategy accepts massive time losses in the pit lane in exchange for running qualifying-style lap times the entire race. It works best for high-speed tracks like Suzuka or Silverstone. A classic example is Michael Schumacher's legendary 4-stop strategy at the 2004 French Grand Prix. Ferrari pitted him 4 times to keep his lap times blisteringly fast, allowing him to hunt down the leaders and win. Before 2010, refueling allowed for wild strategies and incredibly light cars. Now, the FIA requires cars to start with all the fuel they need, capped at a strict 110 kilograms, with a maximum fuel flow of 100 kilograms per hour. Fuel strategy is now a subtle game of weight management. Weight equals time. Every 10 kilograms of fuel costs a driver roughly 0.3 seconds per lap. Teams start with the absolute minimum fuel required to cross the line, usually leaving a tiny 1 to 2 kilogram buffer. As the race goes on, the car burns around 98 kilograms of fuel, becoming significantly lighter, faster, and easier on its tires. Drivers manage this using engine modes and techniques like lift and coast to ensure they don't run dry on the final lap. A safety car neutralizes the race, bunching the pack up and forcing everyone to drive at a crawling pace. For a race strategist, this is the ultimate plot twist. Under normal racing conditions, a pit stop costs you about 25 seconds relative to the cars flying by at 200 miles per hour. But under a safety car, your rivals are driving slowly. This means a pit stop suddenly only costs you a fraction of the time. If you decide to pit, grabbing fresh tires here is a cheap stop, setting you up for a massive advantage on the restart. If you choose to stay out, you hold track position and keep the lead, but you risk being a sitting duck against cars behind you on fresh rubber. When the sky opens up, strategy goes out the window. Formula One teams have to perfectly time the switch between slicks, which are dry tires, and intermediates or wets, which are rain tires. Slicks are grippy on dry asphalt, but act like ice skates in the rain. Grooved wet tires clear water perfectly, but overheat and shred to pieces on a dry track. Teams rely on weather radar, pit wall meteorologists, and most importantly, the driver's gut feeling. Wait too long to pit for wets, and you're losing chunks of time sliding around. Pit too early, and you destroy your rain tires on dry asphalt. It is the ultimate high-stakes gamble. Formula One strategies are all about reading the race, knowing the car, and outsmarting the competition. It is a sport that never stops evolving, and neither will this channel. If you enjoyed this breakdown, I would appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.